How far their city has come since Hurricane Katrina and how much further they need to go. It's a story that has had a big impact on a man who's used to the spotlight on the field.
That's right. Former Gators quarterback Danny Wuerffel has a desire that has nothing to do with football. Brent Martineau has our special report on his mission. Brent?
Well, we caught up with Danny earlier this year in New Orleans. Before there was Tim Tebow, there was Danny Wuerffel, a national champion, a Gainesville Swamp hero. Danny was drafted by the Saints and really didn't have much of an NFL career, but they still love him on the streets of New Orleans, especially on one street in the Upper Ninth Ward.
Danny Wuerffel, University of Florida.
He's a Heisman Trophy winner and a Florida Gator legend.
He's really the reason that I'm working here today. We need more Danny Wuerffels.
Marcia Peterson isn't talking about Danny the quarterback.
Did you have a good break?
In New Orleans, he's a hero for a different reason, and it has little to do with when Wuerffel played for the Saints.
I remember driving down my street and I'd turn right to keep practicing football, but I have to go left to go to Desire Street. And after about a month of kind of hesitation, it got harder and harder to turn right. So I ended up retiring and coming on full staff.
Wuerffel came to Desire Street Ministries, a grassroots urban ministry founded in 1990.
You take a kid like D'Angelo Peterson, who was walking the streets years ago and statistically would end up either in prison or worse, dead. And he gets to be a part of what's going on here. He starts playing basketball and wants some food, and then gets a part of everything else, and starts coming to Bible studies, ends up going to our school, graduates, and now he's at full scholarship at LSU and caught 2 touchdowns this year.
That's a long way from here. Desire Parkway is a street in the Upper Ninth Ward, in a neighborhood that once was the most undesirable place in America.
Across the street from where we're at right now, there was one of the worst public housing developments in the country.
Before we built this, it was an old warehouse, and we'd be playing basketball, and it was pretty much every day you would hear gunshots go off. And then in spite of that, there was this place here that was a beacon of light for kids, for families, doing a lot of things for the community. And I was so attracted to that because as a Christian, to me, that really reflected what I thought authentic faith was about.
That's never been more evident than ever since August of 2005. Hurricane Katrina.
I'm looking at about 5 feet of water everywhere we look.
The water was up to the stripes around the wall in this building. Yeah, so we had about 10 feet of water. Yeah, and then it settled down to about 8 feet and stayed that way for about 3 weeks.
They are trying so hard to rebuild this area, but if you look right behind me, you can tell this hasn't changed much since Katrina. But if you walk 10 or 15 steps this way, look at the contrast. A brand new home, rebuilt. The problem here, though, is only 5% of the population has come back to the Ninth Ward since before Katrina hit.
There's a long way to go, but they're building new units weekly almost. We recognize that somebody has to be here to help bring this neighborhood back.
That's why on New Year's Day, hours before the Florida Gators were playing in the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans, Wuerffel, that Gator legend, hosted an open house.
We want people to understand that, you know, what they'll see downtown around the Superdome is a big contrast from what they see when they cross over out of the CBD and come back into this neighborhood.
The Lord has given me a voice, an opportunity to tell my story, and what I get to do is use that to tell the story of other people doing some amazing things in inner cities here in New Orleans and other places. And so I get the privilege of highlighting some others who are the real heroes that you don't see on SportsCenter or not in the Hall of Fames, but probably should be.
They don't give Heisman trophies for this kind of work. Maybe they should. Because of Danny Wuerffel, the people on Desire Parkway now have hope and a chance. They used to have none. Guys, I can tell you that place is like a ghost town when we went there. Couldn't even get a cab ride back. Pizza men don't deliver. That's how bad it still is pretty much out there, and people remember it before. But they had to relocate kids to set up a school in Baton Rouge, all over the southeast really, and it forced them to expand, which is something they wanted to do. So it's kind of got that goal going already. Danny wants to open 15 of these by 2015. So really a cool thing they're doing, but still a lot more work to be done.
Sure.
That's terrific. And what a choice to, go from the big money days of NFL to making that choice and making a right instead of a left and helping people out.
Pretty powerful statement.
He is a beacon of light there.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they're celebrating in New Orleans tonight.
Sure is. He is too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is.
New Orleans guy.
Yeah, he's right in the middle of it.
guy.
Well, you can find out more about Danny Wuerffel's Desire Street mission on actionnewsjax.com. Just click on the action button.